Hello, Sarah.
Hello, Lucy.
It's lovely to meet you, albeit virtually.
Virtually is good for me, yes.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I've been eating way too much during lockdown.
I started off quite well, and then I hurt my back. I have a tendency to hurt my back, so all my sort of good intentions of running every other day came to a crushing halt. I've been eating healthily, but yes, too much probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've got good food and we've got a veg garden now, so we're starting to get the produce off that, which is lovely. Really, the reason we're talking today is in the run-up to the food festival, Norfolk's first ever virtual food festival on Sunday, which we're both part of. Very exciting. Lots of producers involved and 9 amazing local chefs. But we thought it'd be quite interesting to get a bit more lowdown on Feast magazine. Why it started and all of the questions that people always wonder and never get the answers to. So you're obviously the editor and owner.
So Feast is my sort of mastermind specialist subject. So yes, I probably could bore you for England all day, which I promise not to do. It's just a nice story. I suppose I'm a journalist of, I don't know, 30 years standing, and I always wrote a lot about food. And we started to think about Feast about 5 years ago and produced the first issue January 2016.
Got it. I can remember talking to you before you launched, actually. Yeah, I can remember that.
You're a big help. Yes, I sort of tried to sort of feel the water, see if there was an interest. I felt there was. I felt we were at the sort of vanguard of a real explosion of interest in local food and provenance. And Norfolk was such a good area for us. It really is the ultimate farm to fork destination. You have your terrific fishing and farming heritage. You had this explosion of local producers, whether they were doing jams, gins, chutneys. We had some fantastic Michelin star places like Morstan Hall. We had little funky cocktail bars opening, and we just really wanted to try and capture all that in a great big warm embrace and write about it. And that's all we've done ever since, really. Our message hasn't ever really changed. We're never short of things to write about. It is incredible. Places are opening all the time. People are having a go at this, having a go at that. And we just try our best. People always think we might run out of stories, and it's like, God, no.
Never.
The opposite. So we're meant to have a little bit of everything. I can tell you our popular features. They're always eating out reviews. People like to know where to go. And we try and write good, balanced reviews. I wouldn't ever want to write a really horrible review. I think in those situations when perhaps it just hasn't quite worked, we'd take the view that everyone's allowed a poor night or an off night. Would maybe go back a couple of months later. So our eating out reviews are popular. Our little sort of local holiday, a night away here, somewhere really lovely like Titchwell Manor, they're really popular. The recipes are super popular. Everybody loves to cook. And we try and do recipes for all abilities. I think our readers are good cooks. They're obviously interested in food. And it's also nice to have recipes that maybe you can do with your children or you can send your kids off to university with. And then we do interviews with movers and shakers.
Which we have a lot of, actually, don't we, in Norfolk?
Yeah, we have. And we do interviews with, local chefs. They're always, our chef Q&As are popular. We try and have a little look at issues. I mean, we are a lifestyle magazine, but we're not afraid to sort of write opinion-based pieces where we think appropriate about food waste, for example. That was a popular one. Plastics is always a big issue. So there should hopefully be something there for everyone. And of course, people always love our competitions. Who doesn't?
Exactly, everyone loves a competition. I think there's a competition going to be running on Sunday when this is airing to win a wonderful gastro. I think Charlie Hodson and Michael Chamberlain, the Vicar, are going to be cooking. People are about to go out on a boat with Henry from the Norfolk Coast Exploration Company.
Well, they're little prizes.
Yeah, just brilliant. And you always have them.
Yeah, they are really nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So obviously quite a lot of the content that everyone loves every month places to eat, places to stay. We haven't been able to do it. I know it's things to look forward to. Obviously, you haven't been able to print or took the decision.
No, we haven't done a May issue, and we haven't done a June issue, and I can't, in all honesty, see us doing a July issue. We'd have to be well on our way with it by now. So rather, we're concentrating online at the moment.
Yeah.
So we're doing more recipes, more practical features, lockdown wines.
Well, that sounds good.
Any wine, basically.
Any
And foods to boost your immune system. And we're also, it has been difficult, I found it really hard to find a balance, but we're starting now, places are kind of knowing when they're opening up, hopefully, to sort of give people an idea of looking ahead. Because if people I always imagine I'm a normal person who could judge, but I think people, would really like to go away if they possibly can. So we're saying there's all these wonderful places, but it is difficult, you have to kind of try and judge things constantly.
Well, it's ever changing, isn't it? It's always changing. But I think there's hope, and people are hopeful. So it's being sort of, we've at Holkham, we've been cautious and phased, that with hope at the end. So I think you're just working towards that and gradually reopening in a way that, people can enjoy, the business can sustain, that the community can sustain as well, because it's a big transition. But I think there's a real appetite, sorry for that, for eating out. People just
and at the end of the day, it's people's jobs, isn't it? There's so many jobs in the area dependent on hospitality, tourism, they're intertwined. So we do need to get people back, albeit in a sensible and orderly manner.
Yeah, absolutely. And the takeaways though have been really popular. Yeah. So many of my friends are like, and supporting local farm shops. I'm not advertising Blowfield Farm Shop here, it's Walsingham Farm Shop and all of them ready. But so many friends are talking about the different farm shops they've discovered, and sort of deliveries from farm shops to their homes. So I think there's been quite a lot of discovery.
Yeah, I mean, those that can have really risen to the challenge, haven't they? And it's almost like going back to, I remember the days when I was a kid in the 60s and we got our weekly order in a brown cardboard box with kind of whatever was in season and whatever they thought we needed. And it's almost gone back to that, which I love all that, obviously. I wouldn't write for a food magazine if I didn't. I think, local seasonal food, basically, why wouldn't you? And I guess people have rediscovered the joy of that. And I hope they continue. I
hope so. Yeah,
I hope have been a lifeline to many, and they have really worked hard. A lot of them have had to rethink their businesses in a way, haven't they, and expand here and cut back there and find new suppliers.
Yeah,
it has been a really tough time.
It's been a really tough. I think that's why it's so lovely that the virtual food festival is in support of Hospitality Action, because obviously that's a charity that's needed more now than ever. I was chatting with some of their team, and it's just tenfold the inquiries coming in, the grants. They had a £500,000 pot of grant money for businesses, for hospitality businesses, and that was taken up very quickly. So yeah, it's definitely needed. So hopefully people will donate today on Sunday.
Well, we launched, I'm one of the board members, we launched the East of England branch almost a year ago, didn't we? It's just
we did, yeah.
About the 16th of June, so it's almost to the day. Yeah. And it's hopefully something we can do more of. We did have quite a lot of plans, and just like everybody's plans, they're postponed, not cancelled. So yes, hopefully Hospitality Action will just grow and grow in the East. As you say, it's one of the biggest areas for hospitality for the world. So we should be doing as much as we possibly can.
And hopefully, and I don't know if you'll be able to answer this, hopefully as we come out of lockdown and everybody, our hospitality and restaurants and hotels open, people will start to support those again and go out so that those businesses can start to...
Again, I think that is the real... I can't really predict. I literally can't wait to walk across the road to my local pub to have a glass of wine in the garden.
Yeah.
Who knew it would mean that much?
Yeah.
And as I said earlier, I always imagine I'm a pretty typical person, but I still do think, and again, everybody's different, that I think some people will still be a little bit scared, won't they, and a little bit cautious, and who could disagree with that? I think it will...
be gradual. Yeah, and everyone will have a different, like you said, some people will be desperate to get out and not have that fear, and it will go across the spectrum. But you just feel for those restaurants.
Sorry for the younger generation. You know, my daughter's first year at uni came to a crashing end. And, you know, they should be having the summer of their lives. All these ones that should have been taking their A-levels and having a great summer, basically going to the pub and going out and about. And, you know, they're sort of back home stuck with
us. Things. Oh, you just, but if we're all sensible, there'll be a future ahead, and we'll all and I don't know if you can answer this, being the editor of Feast, but when you do book that meal, is there a place that you are desperate to go to, or are there many?
Well, it'd be like asking me to choose between my children. You know, I obviously support my village pub because that means a lot to me. And you've got to support your local pub. They're an incredibly important part of our heritage. I always, it's kind of what you're in the mood for. I really like places like Rocky Bottoms where the crab is literally off the boat that morning.
And that view.
They don't muck about with it too much. I like places that let the ingredients speak for themselves. So I really like it there. Where else do I like going? I've had some good fish dishes at the King's Head at Flegborough. I
haven't been there. Okay.
Yeah, you can tell I like fish. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
I love that trifle at Benedict's. If you've never had that,
it's incredible.
That's very nice. Over the years, I've had some fun nights at the last wine bar. Maybe when I was, 3 children. I think I was there on Millennium Night. But that's mainly because there's always very nice wine there as well.
It's good. I can remember a very good evening with Oz Clark. Yeah.
So I suppose, like most people, my foodie memories, it's sometimes, it's not just the food, it's the environment, it's the staff, it's who you yourself are dining with. They're experiences, aren't they? They're sort of little memories all made up of lots of different things. But you're never spoiled for choice in Norfolk, and there's always somewhere new to try. The Brisley Bells are really good at the moment.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. So I think there are, and also, I suppose we'll all have food memories from lockdown as well, because I don't know, my son has been cooking loads. He's doing food tech for his GCSE, but he's been cooking loads. We've been cooking. We've got a veg garden, like I mentioned. Baking every week. My daughter's doing a baking challenge with a friend. So I think we'll all have those memories, and they'll be quite food related, I think.
I never want to cook again.
You think?
I'm going to eat out for the next 6 months. We're store home now, 2 of which are, some greedy teenagers who eat the equivalent of, 4 people, cat and a dog. But it's very rare that you have everybody in for breakfast, lunch, tea, snacks. It's felt like a little bit of a canteen here, to be honest. I did start off quite well and was quite, this is lovely, everybody's home, the cookbook's out. And now it's like opening that fridge. Oh, I think it's made me probably less, I hope I was never wasteful, but I've definitely looked at sell-by dates and kind of well, you're having sausages again because we need to get them eaten up. It's been because you haven't gone out to shop as much, so it's kind of been like, we've got to get this lot eaten. I'm not going out again. But I've got, so I live in a village and they've got allotments, and my neighbours are nice. They bring round, you open your front door and there'd be a little pile of spinach or a big pile of rhubarb. So that was really nice.
That's so lovely. My mum has that as well with her friend. Yeah, no, we have to grow ours. It's a little bit more difficult. And things like pigeons and rabbits.
But yes, there's not been many things. We've all talked about what we've watched on telly and what sort of chores, what tidying out of cupboards we've done, and then basically what we've been eating, and that's been about it.
I don't think I'll remember lockdown for how much tidying I did, but I will with the food. Or you'll remember it as being a canteen service. Do you have a most memorable meal? I suppose if we're talking about memories.
It's all tied up with experiences. I think over the years I've enjoyed sort of really lovely Greek salads on a quayside in some little Greek island, or a lovely sort of dirty old paella at some taverna in some remote part of Spain. So I think that's maybe because you can't go there. You remember them more, don't you? You think, oh, one day I will get and have X, Y, Z. I don't think I could recall one particular meal. As I said earlier, I've had some lovely meals over the years at places like The Last, and our leading Roger Hickman's always very reliable. I had a lovely meal at the Holkham, the Victoria. Just before lockdown, we had a hospitality action charity competition. It was
a prize, wasn't it? Yeah.
And I went with a lovely couple. And who knew? I think that's probably about the last meal I had out. You know, it's a lovely evening.
Yeah.
Over the years, I'm lucky. I probably.
Well, you are. It's a great living in Norfolk and running a food magazine. That's a good duo, isn't it? So.
I do like a lot of off-beaten little independent places. I love Wells Crab House. I've definitely had some good meals there.
Beautiful.
But when you know the people and they work so hard, and when you've known them from the start, it's really lovely to see people thrive.
It is definitely. And do you have any tips for people what they should look out for? If there's anything on the horizon that you've heard about, or any sort of new foods to Norfolk that people might not have known?
I mean, vegetarianism and veganism is a global trend, and we're certainly up there. So I've definitely noticed a rise in that. But I think Norfolk people have always known to eat local, eat seasonal, and you can't go far wrong. I would hope that, as I said earlier, that people continue to support the artisan producers. There's not much you can't buy, whether you're after a cookie or a gin,
Gin, definitely gin.
Gin.
A lot of gin.
There's some fantastic gins being made. Vodka, English whiskey. Yeah, we're well. And that's before the beers. I mean, good Lord, how many breweries are there? There's one practically every week of the year now, I should think.
I was going to say, I think we've got more microbreweries here, haven't we, than the rest of Europe. I think there's then I can't remember the stat, but we've got a lot of microbreweries.
I mean, I'd say I'm not really a lover of trends. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. I like good ingredients, well prepared. And I do like the ingredients to speak for themselves. I don't overly like having to sort of dissect a dish and work out
what's in it.
Carrot. And if there's fish, I like to taste the fish. So I suppose I like. I think people in general. I mean, I love meat, but people are eating less meat. I think things are interesting, aren't they? Raw milk, that's definitely coming on. Old Hall Farm are doing great guns down Trix Bundy in Norwich.
Yeah.
And
it tastes so lovely, doesn't it? Raw milk, it's got a completely different flavour.
The butter's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Raw milk butter is really nice and raw milk cream. So yes, hopefully. I mean, I think you are what you eat. And so I don't really know, that's just something I've always been interested in. I don't really know why. I didn't particularly come from a foodie family, but I've always preferred less but better, I suppose.
I think that's the thing. I think when you're saying about meat as well, it's about where it's come from, what sort of life it's had, and we have got some great producers here. So if you eat less but better quality, it's much better. I love this time of year as well for salads. As it's been warm, the salads that you can produce, really interesting ones. And you can take yourself if you can't go to other countries, you can take yourself there through the food, can't you?
Yeah, the tomatoes. I think the nicest thing is when those lovely British tomatoes start to come through. That would be long now. And it makes you realise basically how slightly rubbish they are the rest of the year. When you get a fresh one, it bites into it and goes everywhere. That's a good tomato.
Definitely. Then
I like when they bring back the heritage. Heritage tomatoes, they're lovely.
And then when they're warm, you want them sort of warm, so not out of the fridge. You need to keep them out of the fridge, and then have them with some basil and a local cheese, and lovely. Rub the bowl with a bit of garlic.
They're doing really well.
Yeah, aren't they? Yeah.
And lots of them are getting quite savvy now, and they're starting to do lovely cheese hampers, which are really nice presents for Father's Day. I've seen quite a few of those.
Mother's Day.
It's forced everyone, I think, all local producers. It's forced everyone, even me. I hope I'm vaguely tech savvy. I think everyone's sort of had to up their game a bit. and become a bit better. And I think maybe the generation above me who maybe have never done online shopping or anything like that, or been, you know, not really needed to, I think they've realised it's quite useful, and you know, it's not too horrendous. And that's really where we'll see people start to maybe always be ordering a lot more online. I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, well, I don't know if you've got anything else to add.
So what's the actual lineup for Sunday then? It's kicking off at 9.
It's kicking off.
And then there's nice demos throughout the day.
Demos throughout the day with 9 local and national chefs, and then all the details can be found on the website. And then we have a growing number of local producers involved as well. So their ingredients will be used during the cooking demonstrations, so you can see how to use them. So I think that's always, you know, it's gaining inspiration for how you can use a cheese. So say if you've got Fen Farm dairy cheese, how do you use that? You know, you can obviously
the risotto, kind of,
yeah,
something might have thought of. Yeah,
you know,
put a dollop of chutney in a casserole or something that you perhaps wouldn't have thought, or marinated you know, a piece of meat for a barbecue. Yeah, it's good to see different ideas.
Definitely, and then we'll have lots of pre-recorded behind-the-scenes footage with producers and farmers in between the live sessions. I think our chat will be aired at some point between the live sessions. So it's just a whole. So how many hours is that? 5, 6, 7, 8 hours of solid food. Viewing, so you can sort of dip in and out, and it will all be recorded, so then you can go back to it in the days that follow, and hopefully
this will be definitely.
I mean, obviously we all want to get to a real food festival as soon as we can, because most of them have been cancelled across the country, haven't they, this year?
I think Aldeburgh's been cancelled at the end of September, hasn't it?
Yeah, so I just sort of think
that's the last biggie, I think.
It is. So I think next year we'll be able to go and we'll be able to taste, and we can do this all in our local, like you said, the local shops, the local farm shops, they're still doing that, but this is just a way to experience sort of that food festival vibe whilst we can't actually go to one. So yeah, it'll be a nice, hopefully busy day with lots of people viewing and enjoying.
Great. Well, we've got it coming on our website as well, and we'll just keep on plugging it.
Brilliant, lovely. Oh, thank you ever so much.
Probably the only other thing I should say is, in case people look around for Feast, I think we've said we're not publishing, but we're concentrating online, and that I should probably say the website's just Feast Norfolk magazine, so it's quite easy to find online. And there's lots to keep people busy during lockdown.
Well, you've got all of your archive, haven't you? Yeah. So you're sort of current. Sorry, I'll talk to me.
There's sort of contemporary articles, like we said, like the lockdown wines, but then there's obviously places that you can have a look at all our eating out reviews and our staycation pieces that you can kind of, I thought it might be a time where you can kind of like plan, like, oh yes, have another look at that, and that's the place to go next Easter, and oh, that would be good for the summer. You can kind of do your research now while you've got the time. Line them all up. Yeah,
like your calendar, we'll all have 2021 calendars highlighted.
Yeah, like a bucket list of restaurants I've always meant to go to and I'm actually going to go to, and hotels to stay, or glamping. There's so much choice in Norfolk, isn't there? Whether you want a lodge, a hot tub, or a tree house.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's all there. Definitely, I think we'll just all want to get out of our homes, actually, like you said. So. Yeah. And you don't have to travel far. It's just.
The only thing you can say is it's given people a pause, hasn't it? When they can maybe think about their life, think about where they're going, what they're doing, what works, what doesn't. I mean, I hope a lot of people can maybe do 1 or 2, instead of going into the office 5 days a week, maybe they can work from home, and that would obviously really benefit the environment if we're not tootling about in our cars or trotting down to London 5 days a week.
That's the thing, like Zoom, it does help, doesn't it? You can hold some meetings digitally, so you don't have, like you said, have to commute.
Yeah. It might just give people a chance just to have a little reassessment. It's been, there's been a positive for Feast. We've been able to sit and think, right, because life sort of just goes on and you never actually stop and kind of have an audit. So we've had a little think on what we're doing, what do we do well, and what don't we do so well. and hopefully to bounce back in the autumn in time for Christmas. So I actually think everyone will want a really good Christmas this year.
Oh my goodness, we will, won't we? Definitely. Oh, and with local produce on the table.
Yes, we always do that article, a Norfolk Christmas, from your Norfolk black turkey to your local Christmas pudding to your alternative Dan's ice cream desserts. Yeah, you can definitely. I think we managed to do the whole thing from pre-dinner fizz from Adnams or somewhere to a nice whiskey after your meal. So yeah.
Or the Norfolk saffron.
Herbs is nice.
Yeah.
Is it I want to say King Harry, but
King Harry. It is King Harry. Oh, so good. Saffron. Yeah, it's beautiful. Be my favourite tipple at Christmas.
Yeah, Feast is just all about promoting. It's an easy job in a way. It's just promoting the region's food and drink.
Well, you do it very well.
Always has been, hopefully always will be. In good, and now we can say in good times and bad.
That's the thing, isn't it? And I think, and it's wonderful that food has been a focus. So yeah, definitely. Right. Well, I don't know what you're eating this evening.
No, I don't actually. I shall be opening that fridge. Our fridge has always got loads of cheese in it.
What are we having? We're having a pork and bean chilli.
That sounds okay.
It's a good old Davina McCall, actually. It's one of her recipes. So sort of healthy until you add everything else to it that you want to have as a side.
We have a fish fan that comes on a Tuesday, so we got some sea bass. We had that last night. That was really nice.
We had sea bass last night as well.
I don't know. I think it comes up from Lowestoft. I had thought he might come from the King's Lynn, but he comes from Lowestoft.
Is that where he comes from?
Being candid, it's not cheap, but it is nice. I suppose you pay for the privilege of someone basically parking up, on your road and you nipping out. It's not difficult. No, no miles for me.
That's the thing. How do you serve your sea bass?
During lockdown, I've created a little herb bed. So I just got some herbs out of there and some very fattening butter.
Oh, that sounds so lovely.
I do like fish quite simple, just with some lemon. Might go mad and put a tiny bit of wine on top. But in general, I just
keep it
I think the problem in our house is the children wouldn't eat. Well, the children, they're adults. You do end up still cooking, a couple of different varieties. So I think that's the problem, because they would go fish, so they would want, chicken or something like that. So I think that's why
you're much nicer mum than I am. I'm just like, and you'll eat it. So you are much nicer mum.
Made a rod from my own back.
No, but they're most probably grow to love it as they're older, whereas I'll put mine off completely because I'm force feeding. But that's, but no, yeah.
I just felt so sorry for my daughter, sort of, having to come back and being, basically stuck here when she should have been kicking up her heels in London. So I've tried to
be lovely.
Just try what you can, don't you, to sort of make the days a bit better. We've got away with it a bit because it's been such fantastic weather. But the days when it's rained and rained and rained, it's like,
Well, it's meant to be lovely this weekend. The sun is meant to shine, 25 degrees again. So, yeah, she can sort of get outside and So,
good.
And hopefully in September, get back to it. Fingers crossed.
Well, nice to talk to you, Lucy. And if you want me to do anything else,
no, I don't think so. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. I'm going to stop recording now. Thank you.